The security guard was stealing money from the bank after hours. Little did he know, a co-worker who was off duty suddenly returned, while the man was still busy moving stacks of cash with his head down. Completely unaware of what was happening, the colleague heard some commotion, walked closer to take a look, and it turned out to be David. Seeing this scene, even an idiot would know what was going on. The colleague said he had caught David red-handed and was going to report him to the manager. When David heard this, he immediately became nervous, his hand already moving toward the gun at his waist. But the colleague was very angry, saying they had agreed to slack off together, never expecting David to secretly work overtime. After the person left, David breathed a huge sigh of relief, went back to continue moving the cash. It took him a full 2 hours, until it was finally dark, that he managed to fill up the entire small truck. David immediately smashed the vault's cameras and stole the surveillance tapes, but he happened to miss the very last one. At this moment, David couldn't wait to start celebrating. A beautiful dance was captured entirely by the surveillance camera, but then his joy turned to sorrow because the cash was packed so full, the car door simply wouldn't close. David could only crawl into the cargo area to reorganize, but ended up getting trapped inside. What made it even more desperate was that the walkie-talkie was outside. Now he was completely screwed, but looking at the truck full of cash, unwilling to give up, he tried to squeeze out through the driver's cabin window. Sure enough, he got stuck because of his big butt. In this critical moment, he taped cash to his hands, then used one hand to start the ignition, used the cash to press the clutch. The engine successfully started. The vehicle crashed around wildly until it finally stopped after falling into a ditch. His accomplices didn't care whether David lived or died. Looking at the truck full of cash, they were all stunned. According to the accomplices' plan, the prime suspect, David, had to flee to Mexico first to lay low. To get through security, they stuffed a full $20,000 in cash into David's back pockets, gave him a fake ID that had been prepared in advance, and headed straight to the airport. They even specially disguised David. So David, with his big butt, keeping his big beard, caused such strong discomfort to the staff that they directly skipped the body search and let him through security. It has to be said, although this disguise was hasty, it was quite effective. It's just that when buying things, the cash he pulled out was obviously not very clean. The others began counting the money they had stolen this time. It was a full $17 million. Several large plastic buckets couldn't even hold it all. The police weren't idiots either, and quickly figured out it was David who did it. At this time, David had changed into a bright cowboy outfit, enjoying the sunshine, beach, and ocean view room. But he never expected that his accomplices, in order to keep all the stolen money for themselves, would report David to the police. Interpol tracked him to the hotel. At the critical moment, David jumped ship to escape and barely avoided disaster. The accomplices thought their plan had succeeded and began to spend lavishly with their whole families until they received another call from David. Only then did they realize this guy was actually still alive. In order to eliminate future troubles, he steeled his heart and planned to find a hitman to get rid of David.